Is it okay?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, fine. Okay, so again, thank you all for having me, and I hope the session is fruitful. Now, the first question which most of us ask me is that how long will this recession last? How severe will this recession be? And to answer that question, you need to compare it with something. So I'm comparing it with the Great Depression, which many financial experts have done, and I'm just borrowing their idea and comparing it with the Great Depression. Now, if you look at the last 100 years over the world has seen about 5 to 6 major recessions. India has seen two major recessions in the last 20 years.
It is
We saw one in
I can.
2001 and we saw one in 2008. Now, the 2001 recession, which India saw, was a recession typically about, it was more focused on the the dot-com bubble. The dot-com bubble, which burst in 2001, caused internet companies and some software companies to go bust. It was then that India's famous Satyam Computers couldn't keep up its promise and went bust. In 2008, the crisis was the Lehman Brothers crisis. And Lehman Brothers was the single largest investment bank in the world. When they collapsed, the American financial system nearly collapsed. Citibank was one day away from collapse. Goldman Sachs was one day away from collapse. Credit Suisse was a few days away from collapse. And the government had to save those banks. Now, 2008, the recession was focused basically on the financial and banking system. But in 2020, the COVID recession, which you can call it, is spanning across all industries. And the Great Depression in 1929 also spanned across all industries, right from agriculture to manufacturing to automobiles to travel and tourism and to education. It covered every single sector. And during that time, there was such a severe famine in the nation. You also had even the government with no money. And many of you will be surprised if I tell you that in 1933, 1932 or 33, when the government finally ran out of a lot of money which they had, you know what they did? They put a notice in the newspaper saying everyone who had gold with them, you have to bring that gold and deposit with the government. If you do not deposit your gold with the government, you will be put in jail for 10 years. That was the severity of the Great Depression. Now, the COVID recession may not be that severe, but the longer it progresses, the economic pain is going to be more and more severe. The fear is of the second wave. The fear is of the second wave. If you have a second wave, then you're going to be in more and more trouble. And one of the great pains which people saw during the Great Depression is the chart which I'm showing you now, where the stock market collapsed 90% in a matter of 3.5 years. 90%, which means it wiped out most of investors' wealth. 90% fall is massive, probably unheard of in the history of the stock market which you've ever seen. But 90% was the fall during that time. The Indian markets fell 45% in the month of March, April, and it recovered. It's recovered about 30% now. We are only about 15% down, but that doesn't rule out further pain. If you look at this graph, you can see the market has fallen, gone up, fallen, gone up, fallen, gone up, and it wasn't one steep fall. You had many falls, recoveries, falls, recoveries. It took about 6 falls and recoveries before the market collapsed in 1932, 33. That was when the market collapsed. So one serious risk which we all have to look at is stock market collapsing. That is one risk which we face. What is the second risk which we face? Unemployment. Unemployment is a serious risk. Unemployment during the global Great Depression hit about 26, 27%. Already you can see that unemployment in the US is about 14%, 14 to 15%. Unemployment in India, the figures came out yesterday, has improved substantially. It was 24% the previous month. It has come down to about 11.5, 12%. But that is also very high on unemployment because the historic average of India's unemployment has been about 4.5%. So unemployment is a serious risk because you can face that risk, I can face that risk. Unemployment means complete job loss, but apart from complete job loss, you could face salary deferments, you could face salary cut. 60% of all employees in India will face a salary cut between 10 and 50%. That is what the Confederation of Indian Industry says. So that is the risk which you face. Lesser money in your hand to take care of your expenses, lesser money in your hand to invest, and that can be a big danger. The third, and I would consider this one of the bigger risks which we could face during these times, are shocks to the system. What do I mean by shocks to the system? About a month back, we saw a shock to the system where crude oil, the Texan crude oil, fell to a lifetime record, a lifetime historical record of minus $36. Crude has never fallen to zero. So when it fell to zero, everyone was stunned. But it went and fell $36. It was so historic, so unexpected that the computer screens where you can actually sit and buy and sell crude couldn't capture anything in negative. People were buying thinking the price was zero, but they were actually buying it at minus 10, minus 20, minus $36. So this shock can hit the system. Why did the shock hit? Simply because there was no consumption of oil. There was no travel, there was no trade, there was no consumption of oil. And all storages of producers were full. So what did they say? We have no place to store. We cannot throw crude away because it causes environmental hazards. So it was so the crude producers were telling people like you and me, if you have place to store crude, please come and take crude. We will not only give it to you free, we will give it to you at $36. We'll give you $36 in your hand. Now, this current shock of crude prices falling was good for India. Was good for India because we are one of the largest importers of crude in the world. And from the sources which you see and read about, India bought crude at an average of about $15. The earlier average price which India used to buy crude was about $70, $80. So they managed to buy crude and store it at a very cheap $15. But unfortunately, the government didn't pass on the benefits of a falling crude price to us. Today, if you take away all the taxes which the government put, crude prices will be about 22, 23 rupees. That's all. But our petrol prices are 80 to 83 because we pay a whooping 350, 360% tax on petrol. 250 odd to the central government, 100 odd to the state. But hopefully that extra money which the government is getting from this crude oil taxes will go towards helping our economy and our society during this COVID time. So this was a shock for the entire world, was a pleasant shock to India. Can we see unpleasant shocks? Very, very possible. Can you see a financial system collapse, especially NBFCs, many of these cooperative banks? Can you see that kind of shocks happening? Very, very possible. So, three shocks which we should be ready for: stock market collapse as a risk, unemployment is a risk, shocks to the system, financial system, or the crude oil system, or the currency system. Those are shocks which could happen during the recession. So, be prepared for these shocks. Just a little bit about unemployment because all of us are worried about this. And this is from the Economic Times. And if you read it, the picture is not good. If you look to my right, the travel and tourism industry, it says 55 million people work in the industry, 38 million people will lose job. 55 million, 38 million.
Excuse me, sir. We are
People
unable to
from
see your
different colleges joining
screen,
YouTube
sir.
now.
PPT.
From different college, they are
Everyone,
joining only YouTube. So,
nothing has changed.
Yes, sir. We cannot see your PPT.
okay, they're putting that
Yes, sir. Whatever it is.
live chat is allowed. Very good. Just put the message, we can also type.
PPT is visible, sir.
Subscribe the participants are requested to
So
subscribe.
Yeah,
I
now it is
think
visible.
participants
And
to Prashant
Now it is
Kumar.
visible. Yes, sir.
We
Now
can
it is
able
visible.
to see the PPT.
Yeah, yeah. Right.
different college.
Visible.
Participants, they please pin on to
Students
Prashant
are not
Kumar.
joining, mom. Others are joining. Common students are not joining. I How many are there? Oh, Samina and all they're joining. 30 members. 29. MCOM Nabila has to send. MCOM students are they want to join. Participants are requested to subscribe to this channel. Yes, I'm trying to carefully and to edit it. The
Yeah, I'm
other
back.
ones we
So
should
just
we tried so many. And that is
yeah. Hope you can see it now.
to capture properly.
Hello, everyone. Can you see it now?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, sir. It's visible now.
Yeah, fine. So I just want to show you this because if you look at the screen, this is from the Economic Times about 10 days ago, and it talks about unemployment scenario in India. So it says travel and tourism, you're going to see out of 55 million jobs, 38 million jobs being lost. Automobile manufacturing, 5 million jobs, 2 to 3 million being lost. Look at education down here. This is not good news for us. 18 million people working in the education industry, 4.5 million people will lose jobs. Uh, Real estate, 70 million working, 14 million will lose jobs. But the good news is in the red box. Who's hiring? Educational technology, banking and finance. So Commerce Department, to professors, good news for you. You can tell your students that even during the COVID time, banking and finance hired 1.5 lakh students. So the two industries which will survive is basically the health industry and the wealth industry. People will be careful about their health, people will be careful about the wealth, and they need people to safeguard both of them. So these two industries will do well. All the other industries are at a serious risk. So we looked at the types of risk which we face. What is the kind of time which we have to face this risk for? When can we say, this risk is gone past us? If you look at this graph, we have plotted the recession, the last 5 recessions in the last 100 years. And if you look at it, when the lines go above zero, that is when the recession ends. So if you look at the purple line, the orange line, they are all earlier recessions and they cross past zero after 36 months. Few others cross past zero after 48 months.
Yes,
The
ma'am.
light blue
It
line
is.
is the Great Depression. And when you look at the Great Depression, it falls steeply for 18
It is
months,
clear here,
picks
ma'am.
up
Since
for a
it is
little while,
land
falls
connection,
again and
it
picks
is
up. That
clear
is
here.
called a W-shaped recovery. And economists believe that we will probably see a W-shaped recovery. So the earliest recovery we could have is 18 months from when the virus started, which was probably from March. 18 months is the earliest time period. So you're talking about something about next August, September. That is the earliest time frame, and it could go up to 4 years if we are unlucky. So we need to be prepared to protect ourselves from risk, from defaults, from financial crises for the next 18 to 48 months. That is the time frame which we are looking at. Don't expect anything happening lesser than that. Only a miracle from God will help us come out of the situation lesser than that. So please look at those times. We are having a lot of false reporting. Even this morning, we saw a report which said ICMR says that the Indian vaccine will be ready by August 15. ICMR put up another clarification saying we never said the vaccine will be ready by August 15. We only said that the results of the human trials will be available on August 15. The earliest we can get a vaccine after the human trial results is about a year. So let's. I think some of us are
Ma'am,
too
in
over
chat box you
enthusiastic.
can
Some
paste
of
it,
us are
ma'am.
too over
YouTube.
pessimistic. I think the right time to look at is anywhere
To
between
everyone it
one
would
and
go.
a
If
half
they
years,
want to
18
share it
months
with
to
others, they
3 years,
can share.
36 months. That is the general time frame we should look for a recovery. I just want to spend very little time on this chart. Uh, asking you how you can protect yourself against the virus in terms of not health, but in terms of wealth. And one very important thing which everyone, all experts agree upon is that you need to create an emergency fund. Now, an emergency fund typically is between 4 to 6 months of your household experience, household expenses. So, if your household expenses, which includes rent, food, electricity, water, basic transport, and school fees or college fees, whatever, if that works out to 50,000 rupees per month, that into 4 to 6 months. So, with 6 months, 3 lakh
It is
rupees.
muted.
You need to have that liquid cash in your hand to protect yourself against any sudden emergencies. Now, how you could create that emergency fund? Just very quickly, you can withdraw 3 months of your EPF. The government has given us that benefit. You can use a moratorium. That means you don't have to pay your loan EMI. But my suggestion there is, if at all you take a moratorium, take it only on the home loan. Already June is gone, so July, August, maybe you can take if you need. Uh, One very good option which I want to encourage you to do. Now, when all assets are falling in a recession, there's one asset which will go up, and that is gold. Because gold is a safety asset. During recession, country buy gold. Individuals use gold. If you look at how many people have pledged their gold jewelry with gold jewelry companies like Muthoot and Manappuram, it is at a 5 year record. 5 years worth of pledging of gold has been done in the last few months. So for a lot of people, gold is an emergency reserve which they pledge and use that money to take care of any emergency expense. So gold does well in a recession. Now, when gold prices are going up, all of us should go and look into our drawers, our cupboards, especially the ladies. You will find that you have a lot of junk, unused jewelry, a spare earring, a broken chain, some old jewelry which your grandmother or great grandmother gave, which you have no interest in wearing. This is the time to sell. Please go and sell it and utilize the money for your emergency fund, because that gold is lying idle. You will not get anything out of it. So please sell it. Prices are very good. 22 karat gold is nearly 4,700 rupees. Good time to sell it and use that money for your emergency fund. When you're selling, please don't go to gold jewelry shops and sell it. Please go to companies which buy second-hand jewelry, companies like Gold Max, Attica, etc. They buy these gold jewelry and they'll buy it to you at a much lesser discount, because you lose close to about 7-8% when you go and sell it in a jewelry shop. So please do that. That's a very important thing you can do. Please take a term insurance policy. If you don't have enough of insurance, please take a term insurance policy. A term insurance policy is a pure insurance, pure risk policy. And this is one way to mitigate risk. One way to mitigate risk of your family not having enough of money if something happens to you is to ensure that you have a term policy. A term policy is a pure risk insurance policy. That means only on the event of death does your family get the money. If nothing happens during that period, for example, if a 30-year-old takes a term insurance for 50 lakhs or for 1 crore, for 1 crore, he has to pay 1,000 rupees, little more than 1,000 rupees per month. That's all. A little more than 1,000 rupees per month, he will get a cover of 1 crore. Now, if he's taken this term insurance for 30 years to 60 years, and if he's celebrating his 60th birthday, a grand party, everyone enjoying, one piece of bad news on that day is that all the premiums he paid is gone. He won't get it back. But if anything happens between 30 and 60 years, his family will get the 1 crore. So the cheapest way to get the highest amount of insurance protection is to take a term policy. All the other insurance policies are extremely costly. If you want a 1 crore term insurance cover, you will need to pay at least about 15,000 rupees per month to get that kind of cover. In any other type of LIC, the Jeevan Raksha, Jeevan Anand, your endowment plan, money back, unit plans, all of that, at least 10 to 15 times more. But here, in a term plan, 1,000 rupees for a 30-year-old will get you a 1 crore cover. So please take a term insurance and don't waste money on any expenditure. Like Warren Buffett, the greatest investor in the world, gives us this advice at this point. He says, if you keep spending money today on things that you don't want, if you keep spending money today on things that you don't want, very soon you will be selling things that you want. You will be selling things. And you can reduce your base interest rate So base interest rate is the interest rate at which your interest rate is fixed in the beginning. And even if the rates are floating, which means from that level, rates can either go up or can come down. But now that level, which was earlier fixed at 10.5%, can be moved down today to 8%. So any interest movement down or up will happen from 8% and not 10%. So renegotiate your base interest rate or your prime interest rate and bring it down. It will help you save at least 3 to 4,000 rupees per month. And the last point I want to make here before we go on to looking at risk and default is, if you are in a rented premises, this is the best time. The next 2 months will be the best time for you to move into your own house. Simply because you have two things happening. This phenomenon happens once every 30, 35 years. Interest rate coming below 7%. You already see yesterday's news. SBI says for the first time in the last 33 years, we have reduced our home loan interest rate to 6.95%. One more interest rate cut from RBI, they will bring it to about 6.75%. Home prices of apartments, prices of villas are also bound to fall. The government has already warned them that they owe money to a lot of banks, and they told them, please reduce your cost to cost price. Reduce the price which you're selling the apartments to cost price and sell it. If you don't listen to us in the next 3-4 months, we will put penalties on you. So in the next few months, you're going to see housing prices fall 10, 15, 20%, interest rates being about 6.75, 6.9%. And this combination you see once in every 30, 35 years. So it is a great time to move from your rented property to your own property. Instead of paying rent to your landlord, pay the rent to the home loan company, pay that amount to the home loan company, and you will own your own house. And also, when you buy your own house, you know that you get 2 to 2.5 lakhs interest deductions from your taxable income component. So this is a great opportunity, great time. Make use of it. Now, I want to talk about how to invest with caution. I'm going to talk about 3 R's, and I'm going to explain a little more to you because our topic is slightly different today. Uh, Reliable, realistic review. If you want to protect yourself against defaults, go only with the reliable. Do not go with unreliable names. Let me take you through a couple of examples. In India, I don't know how many of us know, there are 3 banks which are called strategically important banks, or too big to fail banks. Too big to fail banks. They are State Bank of India, HDFC Bank, and ICICI Bank. This simply means that the government will not let these 3 banks fail. They are too big to fail. If they fail, the whole economic system collapses. So the government is not going to let those 3 banks collapse. Every other bank, I'm not saying they are weak, they're going to collapse, but if they collapse, only you will get the 5 lakhs FD insurance which is there today. You are not going to get 100% assurance that the government will protect them. They may protect them, they may save them, but there's no 100% assurance. But on these 3 banks, the government will 100% save and protect those banks from collapsing. So go with reliable names. Go with reliable names. Do not go with uh, people from Bangalore, especially. You would have seen in the news few days back. There's a cooperative bank which went down. I forget the name. I think it is Saraswati Cooperative Bank. It's something like that. But the cooperative bank collapsed, and it is a very, very sad scene to see that whoever was standing in line were 70 years and above. And one lady who was interviewed, 89 years of age, standing in the line to get a 3 lakh of rupees which she had put in the cooperative bank. So be very careful of cooperative banks. I just want to show you a headline from a week back. RBI has put 44 cooperative banks under watch. How deep is the rot? If you read the article, it says the rot in the cooperative banking system is massive. They say any more financial trouble later in the year, you will see cooperative banks collapsing left, right, and center. We are already seeing signs of that. So please be very careful with cooperative banks. Don't put your money there. Don't put your money there. Please be very careful with small finance banks. Many microfinance companies have become small banks today. Please remember, microfinance companies are companies which survive giving loans to the marginal part of our society, which is a very noble thing to do. But please also remember that in a recession, they will be the first to default. They will be the first to default. And if they default, unfortunately, your deposits may be in trouble. So keep away from cooperative banks. Keep away from these small finance banks. Even though they give you high interest, keep away from them. Keep away from this monthly gold investment scheme. A lot of us like to do this monthly gold investment scheme and after 2-3 years get nice jewelry. Well, that is unregulated. Keep away from that. Keep away from that. Keep away from bitcoins. Keep away from cryptocurrency. Cryptocurrency is made legal in India today, but it is unregulated. Keep away from anything which is unregulated. Because any scheme which is unregulated doesn't mean it's illegal. It means that if something goes wrong, there's no one to save you. You have to take care of yourself. Which means, imagine you go and invest in a cryptocurrency, a Bitcoin, and someone cheats you and the money is gone. Who will you go to? You have to go to the police station. And please try going to a police station and explaining to that guy a Bitcoin. He'd be wondering what you're talking about coins. And he'll say, bit of a coin, he'll say, leave that. Why you want to worry? So very, very difficult to try and, go and file an FIR and try to get the police to recover your cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, because they don't understand where to go and look for it. Where to go and look for it is a big problem. And especially cryptocurrencies, I want to tell you, it's an absolutely risky investment because the cryptocurrency, even though it's not illegal, there is no one to protect you from this because cryptocurrencies today is made and circulated by individuals, by corporates, most of them outside the country, sometimes even by small people who make this cryptocurrency. I will give you an example. About 2 years ago, there was this young, bright American student who developed a new cryptocurrency. I forget the name of the currency, but he developed this currency. The value of the cryptocurrency went from $0 to $1,000 within a few months. It became a very, very popular cryptocurrency. It was actually catching up with the Bitcoin. And this young guy became a billionaire, not even a millionaire. He became a billionaire at 23 years of age. He got married. He had a small young kid, a young son. But since he became so rich so quickly, his heart told him do some good. So with a good heart, he came to India to build orphanages. He flew into India, came to Trichy in Tamil Nadu to build an orphanage. He ate something somewhere. It didn't agree with him. He had a severe case of food poisoning and died. Tragic event of this young guy dying. But more tragic than that was, no one could find the password where he had stored the cryptocurrencies. No one could find it, even till today. The password for his cryptocurrencies were not found. He had not written it anywhere. He had not told his wife. He had not told his employees. He had not told his fellow directors. He had it in his brain. And when he passed away, none of them could use the cryptocurrencies which were in the server. So all the other people who had the cryptocurrencies in their server, their value became zero today. So those kind of risks are there in cryptocurrencies. You have a default risk even in cryptocurrencies because it is very possible that when it is stored in your computer or your server, someone can just hack in and take it away. It's very easy to do that. Russians, Chinese are masters at that. Even recently, we saw a Korean company which had millions and millions of cryptocurrencies. One night, hacked, everything taken off. Where will you go and find them? Virtually impossible. So stay away from cryptocurrencies. High risk. Default rate is high. Stay away from cooperative banks. Stay away from small finance banks. Stay away from this monthly gold investment scheme. Stay away from chit funds from, again, unregulated companies. There are few regulated chit funds. You can go with them. Sundaram, Margadasi, they are all regulated. But there are many, many unregulated chit funds run by associations, run by Workers' Welfare Association, Flat Owners Association, Self-Help Group Association. These are high risk. In a recession time, even a few of the people in the chain of these chit funds collapse, everyone will see a collapse. A chit fund is like a bicycle in a bicycle stand. If you push one bicycle, everything else will fall. And the same example of a bicycle and a bicycle stand is multi-level marketing. Multi-level marketing again is not illegal, but it is not regulated. Multi-level marketing in the name of Amway, in the name of Tupperware, they are all unregulated. I don't know how many of you know that few months back, the head of Amway India was arrested in your city, Bangalore, because they had cheated, because not that they cheated, but the schemes had collapsed. People had lost money. And therefore, even though the company might have good intentions, these kind of investment options collapse during bad times. Do not invest in this, multiple, you had this teakwood plantations, holiday homes. Put some money into holiday homes, and after 5 years, 10 years, you own it. Put some money every month into, a teak plantation, and after 10 years, you will get 100 teak plants. All those are not regulated. They may not be illegal, but they're not regulated. So all these are the defaults which are staring ahead of us. In good times, we don't see the defaults, but in bad times, when the clouds clear, you will see the defaults just shining on you. But by the time the clouds clear, our defaults are all done. And when the clouds clear, we realize, oh, this was such a stupid investment we made. So please be risk averse. The greatest investor in the world, Warren Buffett, has said that he sold all his investment, he's taken his money and just sitting on cash. Cash is king, is what he says today. Cash is king. So please be careful of these kind of defaults. Please be careful. Another R which I want to talk about is realistic. Please be realistic. If you want to save yourself from defaults, be realistic. Don't be greedy. Again, Warren Buffett said, be fearful when others are greedy and be greedy when others are fearful. Today, people are greedy because they're getting lesser returns in a FD. In an FD, you get only 5.5%. If tax goes away, you get only 5% in your hand. But that's all you get, even though actually it gives you actual negative rate of returns because inflation is above 5%. So when inflation, when your expenses, when your value for money is depreciating by 5.7% and your value of money is growing at 5%, your net growth of money is actually minus 0.7. So in an FD, for someone below 60 years, you're getting actual real rate of return in a negative sense. So even though it is a bad investment to make, you don't have too many options today. It is better for me to get a negative 0.7 than to get 100% or 70% loss. So please be very realistic. Do not go and put your money in banks which promise you 7.5%, 8%. Please be very, very careful. Corporate deposits who offer you 8, 9, 10%. Be very careful. Now, listen to me here. Please be very careful when you put your money even in debentures of companies. Please look at the credit rating. A credit rating is a rating given by a credit rating agency. Chrysler, ICRA, Standard and Poor, Moody's. They are all, what they do is they study the financials of the company, their ability to repay, and they give them a rating. So if at all you invest in any of the debentures or bonds, look at only AAA rated. Anything less than AAA, even today, it's not safe. If it was if it was 2 years back, I would also tell you AA also go ahead, A plus also go ahead. But today, only AAA credit rating instruments you should invest in. All these instruments, please go and look for this alphabets. You will find it there on the prospectus. You will find it there on the advertisement. If it is bad, they will put it small. So please go and check it. Only if it's AAA, invest into those debentures. If it is non-AAA, don't invest into those debentures. You find a number of state governments, state government departments of state governments, especially the power finance department of state governments, coming up with bonds now. They are not the same as central government. A central government bond is a sovereign guarantee, safe, very safe. A state government bond doesn't have a sovereign guarantee. It can be dangerous. Please, again, there, look at the credit rating. Look at whether they are in trouble or not. Look at what is the outstanding debt. States today have a huge fiscal deficit. Tamil Nadu, where I am from, said 85,000 crores is the fiscal deficit. The question I ask is, how are you going to repay the bond owners? They may not default because the default, if they default, they will never get the money again. So state governments may not default, but what can they do? If it's a 5-year bond, they will say we are making it 8 years, 10 years. So you're forced to hold that. You're forced to hold that. So those things can happen in this government bonds, government department bonds like power finance, those kind of things are dangerous. Central government bonds, much cheaper. Central government G6, government securities, they call G6, 5, 10, 15 years government securities, they are safe. Do not go for these, private companies, debentures, unless they are AAA. State government bonds also, please be very, very careful with them. Central government bonds, central government G6, government securities, they are safe. So please be very careful even with government instruments. Be realistic, don't be greedy. If you go with the reliable and if you're realistic, you can save a lot of your defaults. Continue also to review your portfolios. Continue to review where you have invested because that will save you from default. I don't know how many of you saw the news the other day. It is not that bad the news as it sounds, but S&P, Standard and Poor, has downgraded the rating of Axis Bank and Bajaj Finserv to junk. Will you believe it? India's 4th largest private sector bank, Axis Bank, the rating is junk. but that rating is only for the bonds which they've issued, not for the deposits. It's only for the bonds. So when the news came, Axis Bank fell about 5-6%, and slowly now it is recovered about 4%. So that is for the bonds. If you have any bonds in Axis Bank or Bajaj Finserv, be very careful. They've got a junk rating, which means that highly unlikely they will be able to, pay the whole amount on time. Things may change, but as of today, it is junk. So please be careful. Constantly review. You have a number of banks. Look at something called a capital adequacy ratio. CAR, capital adequacy ratio when you invest. Minimum CAR which a bank should have is 9 to 10%. There are many banks which have 12, 13, 14% capital adequacy ratio. There are some banks like Lakshmi Vilas Bank whose CAR was 9 few months back. Now it is 3.5. It has collapsed. Those kind of banks, be very careful. Even though LVB now is trying to raise capital and bring it back to 9%, any bank with a capital adequacy ratio, that is a safety ratio. The lower the capital adequacy ratio will tell you your chances of default are high. So be very careful. Yeah, so be very careful. Look at your capital adequacy ratio on banks before you invest. If you find a capital adequacy ratio of 13, 13 and a half, 12 and a half, it is good. Go ahead and invest. Anything around 8 and a half, 9, lesser than that, please be very careful with those banks. So constantly review, because banks which are safe today can become weak tomorrow. Look at the classic case of Yes Bank. It was strong 1.5 years back. It was the fifth largest private sector bank. Today it is collapsed. It has gone bankrupt. And sometimes when you review, look at the stock market. The stock market knows something bad is going to happen much before you and me. That is why people call the stock market as a lead indicator. It's a lead indicator. It will tell you before the event happens that there is something bad is going to happen. How will it tell you? By hammering the stock down. 1.5 years before Yes Bank collapsed, the stock was hammered on the stock market from 550 to 90. People were saying no reason for it to be hammered from 550 to 90. 1 year later, they realized the stock market knew this much before we do. Today, it is at 27 rupees. It came down right up to 6 rupees. So these are the things which you need to do to safeguard yourself from defaults. Go with the reliable. Be realistic. Constantly review your portfolios. I've given you a number of examples of risks in terms of, even state government portfolios, state government bonds. We looked at, cooperative banks. We looked at private sector banks which have a low capital adequacy ratio. We looked at a number of things, cryptocurrencies. Be careful of all that. They might offer you great returns, but they won't deliver. Also, one more thing I want to tell you, even with, mutual fund, go with the safe mutual funds. Don't invest today in any debt mutual fund. If at all you invest in gilt funds, GILT, not GOILT, GILT funds. Gilt funds are funds which invest in government securities. If you invest in other debt funds, they are all defaulting because corporates are defaulting, and then it will be GUILT fund only. You will be terribly guilty that you invested in it. So invest in gilt GILT funds, they invest in government securities. So even in mutual funds, please be careful where you invest. Just to conclude, what I'm going to say is electronic gold is a great place to invest today, because in recession, gold does well. I don't encourage you to buy physical gold, but buying electronic gold is a safe haven, because gold, like I told you, is a safe haven. People rush to gold in times of difficulty, and in difficult times, gold prices go up. Buy electronic gold. It is easy to buy. All you need to do is open a trading and a demat account. Go to a stockbroker or a bank, open a trading and a demat account, and you can buy electronic gold. Electronic gold is available in a form of exchange traded fund. It is a combination of a share and a mutual fund. It's a hybrid. The most famous electronically traded fund is Gold Bees, GOLDBEES. And the beauty of Gold Bees, it's available. One unit is only 0.01 grams. So with 43, 44 rupees, you can buy 1 unit of gold. And you can buy any number of lots you want. One unit you can keep buying. And if you buy in the morning, you can sell in the evening, you can sell tomorrow. It is completely liquid. So gold is a good investment, but go only for electronic gold. By the way, 11,000 crores is the electronic gold investment this year alone. And it is higher than physical gold investments in India for the first time in history. So look at electronic gold. Systematic investment plan. If you're looking at the stock market, only adopt a systematic investment plan. Don't put lump sum money, because in a falling market, lump sum money you can lose if the stock market suddenly collapses. But a systematic investment plan is when you put money every month into the market, and in a falling market, you get the rupee cost averaging benefit. So when you invest into a falling market, every month the mutual fund buys the same shares for you. So you get the same shares at a lower price. You get more shares at a lower price. So double benefit, more shares and a lower price. So systematic investment plan is good for people below 50 years, but at least have a 5-year investment time horizon. I'd like to leave you with one thumb rule of investment, and then I will just show you a few slides and we will close. The thumb rule of investment says age equals risk-free investment. Age equals risk-free investment. And if you follow this thumb rule, you are highly likely to be a good investor and not get caught in the web of taking too much of risk. The thumb rule of investment given to us by the American Standard of Financial Planning says age equals risk-free investment. Age equals risk-free investment. So if you're a 30-year-old, it means that out of 100 rupees, only 30 rupees should go on risk-free assets like government securities, FDs, RDs. The rest, you should take risk. 70 rupees should be, you should take risk with 70 rupees. Invest it in stock market, invest it in gold, invest it in real estate. That is the idea. But if you're 80 years old, this rule will say 80 equals risk-free investment. So 80 rupees out of 100 should go into government securities, should go into FDs, RDs. Only 20 rupees should go into shares, gold, etc. So this thumb rule, if you follow and you follow it well, you are not taking too much of risk at the wrong time. Taking risk at the right time is the right thing. Taking risk at the wrong time is the wrong thing. So when you're young, take risk. It will bear fruit for you. When you're old, do not take risk. Take less risk during that time. So this thumb rule is that if you follow it, it will save you a lot from default by making wrong investments. Just finally, just want to show you two things. We spoke about why gold is a safe investment during a recession. Look at 2001. During the 2001 recession, gold 2001 it was 375 rupees. By the time the recession ended in 2005, middle 2005, it was 875. 350 to 875. Then 2009, when the next recession started, from 1,200 rupees right up to 3,200 rupees. In 2012, when the recession ended, it was 3,200. 1,200 to 3,200. More than 150% return. And now, then you see when the recession got over, gold prices actually went down a little, was flat. And in 2019, when the recession started, gold price started going up again. Today, gold has given us 41, 42% return. Can it go back to a 100% return like the previous two recessions? Very, very possible. As long as this COVID recession lasts, better the gold price will get. So electronic gold, safe bet. Uh, some of the safe investments for you to make, post office monthly income schemes gives you 6.9%. The two highest interest rate schemes in India today, guaranteed by the central government, a Sukanya Samarthi scheme, 7.6%. But this is only if you have a girl child below 10 years of age. Up to 2 girl children per family, you can invest up to 1.5 lakhs per year. But 7.6%, this is the highest, safest interest rate you can get in India today. The second safest interest rate is your senior citizen savings scheme, 7.4%. You can put up to 15 lakhs. You have a 5-year lock-in. But in this scheme, you have interest reset clause, which means if interest rates go up or go down, you will benefit from it. If interest rate goes up or goes down, this interest rate also will go up or go down. So you're not stuck with 7.4. Tomorrow, if interest rate goes to 8%, you will also get 8%. Now, why am I telling you all? It is only for 60 years of people 55 if they've taken VRS. I'm telling all of you all because all of us are parents and grandparents. We can invest in their name. The only caution is please make yourself as a nominee. So if something untoward happens, your family will get the money. I mean, sorry, you will get the money or your family will get it. It's not distributed among others. So do take a senior citizen savings scheme in your parents or grandparents' name. 7.4% is a huge return because if you and me invest today in an FD, we get 5.5 minus tax only 5. Our parents or grandparents won't fall in the tax bracket. They straight away get 7.4, 2.4% more if we invest in their name. And we can trust them. So it is not at all a bad idea to do this. So I hope I've given you a fair idea of the risk which is ahead of us, how long this economic recession because of COVID is going to last, how painful it can be, what are the kinds of risks we face, how do we protect ourselves against that. We looked and then we looked at some things which we need to do to protect ourselves against the risk. We looked at the lessons of the 3 R's: reliable, uh, be realistic and constantly review. We looked at the investments which are risky. We looked at how one needs to be safe and not greedy at this time. We said be careful of investing in cooperative banks, small finance banks, banks which have a low capital adequacy ratio. We said be careful of cryptocurrencies, don't go there. We said be careful about mutual fund debt schemes. We said be careful about this monthly gold investment scheme. We said be careful about multi-level marketing. We said be careful about this uh, this group schemes where you invest into Teakwood, into holiday homes, those kind of investment. They are also unregulated. So all these are dangerous. Also, want to caution you one thing which I didn't tell you then: do not go and put your money into forex. Forex is a leverage asset in the sense that for 10,000 rupees they will allow you to buy forex for 1 crore, not 1 crore, maybe 50 lakhs. With 1 lakh of rupees you can buy forex for 50 lakhs. So even if you have a small move in the forex, in the money, in the US dollar, Indian rupee, if there's a small currency fluctuation, you will stand to lose your entire capital. So be very, very careful investing in forex. Also, giving money to forex dealers will say, "Give me your money. We give you 80%, 100%, 90% return." It is not only unregulated; it's also illegal. They will pay you for 1 2 months. You will get excited, give them more money, they will run away. I know of a client who gave them 10 lakhs. The guy in the first month returned 2 lakhs. The second month he gave them 3 lakhs. This guy got very excited, gave him 1 crore of rupees. Third month the guy disappeared. So please be very careful with forex schemes. Default rate very high, risk rate very high. But you have safe schemes, government saving schemes, post office saving schemes. Time to go back to the old fashioned investments. There you have central government protection. You also have better interest rates. And my final word to you is, if you want to borrow, go to the banks. You want to invest, go with government investment schemes, go with post office schemes. They give you better protection, better rate of interest. Thank you very much. If you have any questions which you cannot ask because it's some personal in nature regarding finance, then I will just give you my mobile number and my email, and you can feel free to get in touch with me. This is my WhatsApp number and my email. If you have some questions which you can't ask in a common group regarding finance, you can, just WhatsApp me or email me, and I'm happy to take this. So I end my session there. I hope you found it practical and useful. Uh, Always happy to answer any of your questions.
Thank you, sir. The session was extremely informative with good live examples. I request all participants to post your queries in the chat box. So if there are any queries, then you can post it in the chat box. So we have a query, sir, from Mr. Untitled Chapter. Investing in term insurance is good with present situation. Is the first
Little
question.
louder, please. I can't hear you.
Is investing in term insurance good with the present situation? Is the first question.
Absolutely, absolutely. This is the best time to take a term insurance. Just for your record, within the last 3 months, companies have issued term insurances which they have issued for 3 years. The amount of term insurances people have taken in the last 3 months is equal to 3 years of term insurance. India is one of the most underinsured countries in the world. We think nothing will affect us. We think we will live well. That is how we act, right? Look at COVID, the few days of lockdown entry, everyone is roaming freely, everyone knows social distancing. We think COVID will affect others, won't affect us. That is the terrible idea to have. So always better, please take a term insurance and take it now. Uh, can I take the questions from the chat? I think there are many questions. I think some of you have given email IDs.
Yes, sir. Yes, please, sir. You can.
Yeah, a lot of them ask. Ma'am, are you going to ask the questions or shall I just look at them and
So you
answer?
can, no, no, you can do directly, sir.
Okay. Thank you for everyone who said it's a useful, excellent presentation. Thank you. So many of you have said that. Thank you so much. I'm not able to thank you individually, but thank you so much. Very kind of you. I will take questions. If I missed anything, you can ask me. Investing in term insurance is good. Yeah, I think I answered that, Manigandan. It's a good time to invest. Is safety investment in insurance? Vijay Kumar, investing in insurance companies through insurance companies is safe, but insurance companies, the main job of an insurance company is to give you protection, not to invest. So generally, the financial planner's advice is keep insurance and investment separate. Take a term insurance plan. That is insurance. For investments, choose a mutual fund. Don't mix insurance and investment. The results will always be poor. You will get low insurance cover. You will also get poor returns. The double negative. So when you go for an insurance scheme, take a term insurance. The rest of the investment portion, put it in a mutual fund. Do a systematic investment plan. It will give you much better returns. That is my suggestion to you. But insurance companies, most of them are safe. Many people ask me, is LIC safe? LIC is very safe. Yeah, LIC, the Pradhan Mantri scheme for senior citizens is good, Mr. Nagaraj. Please go ahead with that. It is a good scheme. Is it Ashrani asking correctly? You said women are more interested in investing in gold ornaments or wearing. I don't know whether it's investing or wearing gold ornaments. But if you want to invest in gold, then electronic gold is any day better. It is much cheaper. There are no extra costs. It is much cheaper, much simpler to buy. No storage worries. You don't have to go put it in your locker or keep checking every time whether someone is stealing it. Electronic gold is cheaper. You can sell it anytime. When you sell it, there is no making charges, waste of time. So my suggestion to you, you want to invest, it's a good time to invest in gold, but electronic gold is a better way to invest. Like I told you today, Indians have invested 11,000 crores in the last 4 months in electronic gold. Much, much higher than they've invested in physical gold. So even ladies today don't mind electronic gold. Even if they can't wear the electronic gold, it's a good investment for them.
Sir, can you please share your mail ID and number, sir?
I'll share it again. I'll take the questions and I will share.
Okay.
Is Canara Bank safe? Juvi, Canara Bank at the moment is safe. They all come under the government umbrella. But like I told you, see, if at all you know that for 100% the government will save them, it is those three banks, State Bank, HDFC, ICICI. Any other bank, even though it comes under the government umbrella, they will give them first preference over private sector banks. But we never know. We don't know how long, how severe this recession is going to be. But at the moment, there is nothing to worry about Canara Bank. Is it good to take a home loan now? Lavanya, it's a great time to take a home loan. But don't take that home loan and wait to go for a holiday after the lockdown. Take the home loan and buy a house. Buy a house because I think in the next 2-3 months, you will have home loans at the cheapest and also housing prices will fall at least 15-20%. So make use of this opportunity. You will see it again only after 30 years. I have certain investment in Kotak Mahindra. Sulochana, you have to give me more details on that, please. Kotak Mahindra, are you talking about the insurance? Or see, all banks today have an insurance company, have a mutual fund, have a stockbroking company. We need to see what exactly is your investment. You have my number. You can WhatsApp me, or if you have that information, put it up right now. I will give you an answer. Lakshmi Priya is asking, since all banks are amalgamated, will it reduce the NPAs? Well, if it is amalgamated with good banks, it can reduce NPAs. It could also have the adverse effect. So we will know. The real truth of it is when you go through troubled times. I think in the next 4 to 6 months, we will know which banks are really going to struggle. We don't know today because in 4 to 6 months, we will see defaults really happening. Being from Bangalore, everyone is asking about Canara Bank. Don't worry, it's okay as of now. Sahana, see, like I told you, Sahana Chatterjee, I showed you the graph. When recession ends, gold will go down. It may not fall immediately, but it will slowly go down. Gold is not something which will collapse, but it will slowly go down. So when the recession ends, that's when you have to get out of sell the electronic gold. The thing is, physical gold, if you buy it, as ladies, you won't want to sell it, even though you know the price is coming down. But electronic gold, you're not so attached, so you will be able to sell it. Actually, by the way, just as a statistic, I believe the two worst investors in the world, one are doctors because they don't have time, and second are ladies, women. Because once they make an investment, they don't like selling it. That is a big danger. So please be careful. Always be willing to sell. Because if you don't sell at the right time, you will suffer. I will share. A lot of you asking my contact details. Give me 5 minutes. I will share it with you. SBI, HDFC Bank, and ICICI Bank. Mr. Rajiv, sir, you're asking me, you're saying you're 65 years old, you have 15 lakhs, perfect. The senior citizen savings scheme is made for you. 15 lakhs is the maximum amount. Please put it there. It is a great place to invest, 7.4%. If interest rates go up tomorrow, you will get that increase also. And it is sovereign guaranteed. So please go to a post office or a public sector bank, open a senior citizen savings scheme and invest there. Don't let them convince you to put it in some insurance-based senior citizen scheme. They are not good. Put it in the government-backed senior citizen savings scheme, which gives 7.4%. I do a lot of teaching. My job today, I was a stockbroker, investment banker for 26 years. Today, I do a lot of teaching. I do teaching for NSE, National Stock Exchange, National Institute of Securities Management. Last year itself, I think we've come and run certification courses for I think about 10 colleges in Bangalore, right from St. Joseph's, Mount Carmel's, St. Joseph's, we did 2 or 3 programs, Mount Carmel's, MLAC, many other colleges, Dayananda Sagar, many colleges actually, Ramaya College. We've done many colleges. I guess last year alone, I think I personally have trained and ensured certification for about 4,000 odd students. So yes, I do that a lot. And encourage students to invest. That's another thing which I do. Why monthly goal scheme is not safe, Sindhu? Because a monthly goal scheme is not dependent on the price of gold. It is dependent on the jeweler who you give that money to. If the jeweler, see, please remember this, jewelers are not able to sell gold. No one is buying jewelry. But he's still surviving because the jewelry which he bought, the gold which he's bought, the prices are going up, so he's happy. But at one particular point of time, when gold prices stagnate or start to fall a little, he will suffer because he's not selling jewelry. Also, the prices which he bought is falling. Therefore, at that point of time, if he's taking some loans, he won't be able to pay it. He will default, and you won't get your money. Now will you get your jewelry? That is why I'm saying monthly gold scheme is not safe. And please remember, it is unregulated, which means no one is checking whether the money he's taking from you is buying gold. In an ETF, exchange traded fund, the gold piece, SEBI is checking. This is the money which you and I invest when we buy those units. Is he using that money to buy physical gold? Is that ETF using our money to buy physical gold and store it? They're checking. Someone is there to check. Here, there's no one to check. So he might take money from you and me, and instead of buying physical gold, he might buy a BMW or buy an apartment. We don't know. Can we invest in mutual funds? Please invest in mutual funds, but don't put lump sum money. In this kind of markets, it's better to do a systematic investment plan. Good mutual funds are Birla Sun Life Mutual Fund, ICICI Prudential, HDFC Mutual Fund, even Nippon Mutual Fund, SBI, all of them are good funds. I have 1,000 shares of Yes Bank. Shall I keep it? Rajiv, keep it for now. We don't know how the things will pan out. With 27,000 maximum, my guess is you will maybe lose about 17, 18,000 maximum worst case. But it can go up. If State Bank takes more ownership of the bank, tries to revive the bank, then yes, it will go up. At the moment, it's too early to say. All we know is that the bank has been rescued. Is it getting back to good health or not? We will know only after some time. The bank is still, maybe it is out of the ICU, but it's still in the hospital. So wait till it gets discharged. Taking a home loan, Lavanya, the cheapest home loan comes from public sector banks. SBI, Union Bank of India, all of them give you the cheapest loans. Sovereign gold bonds is very safe, Sana, to invest in. But please remember, sovereign gold bonds have a 5-year lock-in. So electronic gold doesn't have a lock-in. Sovereign gold bond has a 5-year lock-in. Sovereign gold bond, the government gives you 2.5% interest also every year. That is the benefit, but there's a 5-year lock-in. How can you buy? Good question. How can you buy electronic gold? To buy electronic gold, you need to open a stockbroking account and a demat account. You can open it with any stockbroker, with any bank, and once you open that, then you can buy electronic gold in your trading account and you can store it in your demat account. Who will help you? Go to any stockbroker. From Bangalore, Zerodha is there. Zerodha is the number one online stockbroker. You can go to Motilal Oswal. You can go to Sher Khan. You can go to ICICI Bank. They have a ICICI Direct, which is a stockbroking company. HDFC Securities is there. Kotak Securities is there. All of them will help you do that. Yeah, I think a lot of questions are kind of repeated, so I'm not going to answer them. ICICI insurance is safe, Angelina, no problem. But again, I told you, try not to mix insurance and investment. A lot of people from Rajdhani Business School. Okay, welcome all. I hope you like the session. At the moment, Venkatesh, gold is better than any other investment. Gold does best in recession times. Vijaya Bank also, no problem, Angelina, at the moment. I like your most of your, your patronization to local banks. Canara Bank, Vijaya Bank, all Bangalore-based banks. Haji, you asked me a question, private banks in the risk. At the moment, there is no private bank in real risk, but the longer the recession happens, you cannot say that they are free, they can become risky. So please keep an eye, please keep an eye. Please keep an eye. Real estate will be a great time to buy, Mr. Gupta or Mrs. Gupta. It will be a great time to buy. But the good thing to do about real estate is buy it for your own purpose of staying. If you buy it as an investment, it might take 2-3 years for it to recover. But in a few months' time, I think you will get real estate at rock bottom prices. Real estate prices will go down, Priya. Priya Noel, you asked me a question. Do you think real estate prices will go down? It will have to go down. Why am I saying in such authority? Is that real estate sector is one of the largest defaulters to the banking sector. They are not able to pay. And now if you look, just go on Google. Piyush Goyal has warned them. The minister has warned them saying, we are giving you a friendly warning, reduce your prices to cost and sell it. Because you have to pay the banks. If you don't pay the banks, government has to pay. So please reduce and sell. And he's warned them saying, this is a friendly warning. If you don't accede to our demand, we will put penalties on you. So when it comes close to penalties, all these guys will reduce cost. Kavita, a lot of mutual funds are good here. ICICI is good, Birla is good, HDFC is good. Pick a large cap fund. Pick a large cap fund. Pick a HDFC top 100 or ICICI Frontline or Birla index fund. Pick the big large cap funds which invest only in large companies and investors. Electronic gold is simply that instead of buying physical gold, you buy electronic gold units. When you buy one unit, the company which you're buying the electronic gold from, they buy gold and store it on your behalf. The beauty of having electronic units is no problem of keeping it, locking it up somewhere. You can buy and sell it anytime. It is completely liquid. And when you buy and sell, there's no making charges, wastage charges, etc. So electronic gold, you buy it digitally, someone holds it for you physically. That is the easiest investment I can give you. Health insurance is not an investment, but good to have health insurance. Any price, Sadia, will go up and come down. There's nothing which will go up forever. Law of gravity is followed by all investments. Whatever goes up will come down. But now is a good time to invest in gold. When recession is getting over, gold will fall. Is gold bond available in PSU banks? Yes, it is available. It is also okay to invest. But please remember 5-year lock-in. I have a demat account with Karvi. Is it safe to buy electronic gold there? It is safe to buy electronic gold. I'm not sure about the demat account with Karvi. They had some problem earlier with them misusing shares of people who had shares with them. So please be careful about the company you have your demat account with. They got out of the problem, but please be careful. But electronic gold, keep it in demat is generally safe. Okay, thank you so much. I think I've answered all questions. If you have any other questions, I'll just put up my yes, this Google screen sharing is always a problem. Give me a minute. I'll just share you my number one. Any questions I left out, you can ask me. If I left out any of your questions, please ask me.
No, we can.